committee community are involved. It's not only the faculties, it can be some professionals, some alumni, some employees. They can also have a great contribution on assessment. Assessment is most likely to lead to improvement when it is a part of a larger set of conditions that promote change. Through assessment, educators meet responsibilities of students and to the public. This, this I feel should be some of the principles of assessment. Now there are types of assessments. There are two types, summative and formative. Summative assignments is basically sampling of students' achievements which lead to a meaningful statement of what they know and understand and can do. And generally these type of assignments are basically taken at the end of the program. There are formative type of assessments. These assessments basically is a procedure to provide feedback to the students where they are, to test their skills maybe, to let them know how much they know, what is their position on the academic process, and it necessarily doesn't contribute to their final grades. Now, methods of assessment can be examination, testing, writing, written assessments, oral assessments, visual assessments, other methods. I think Rajiv has told a lot of things on assessments. So examinations, it can be how we can take exams. It can be an unseen exam. It can be a revealed exam as well. Open book exams can be conducted, online examinations, and now on-demand examinations. This gives a flexibility. Basically, on-demand examinations gives flexibility to the students to select their date, their timings of their examinations. Testing can be skill testing. Computer-based self-assessments can be done. Written assignments like computer-marked assignments, case studies, review in the websites, literature reviews, and so on. Oral can be like viva, individual presentation, group presentations, class, and poster presentations. Now, other assessments are there where Rajiv was emphasizing on simulations. Yes, we are talking about virtual labs now. And that really gives an opportunity to the students to actually practice what he has learned in theory, which current lab arrangements might not be giving that opportunity to a student. So students get an opportunity through virtual labs without compromising on any quality aspects to practice it, to apply those things, what they have learned in theory. So I also support that such kind of assessment system has to come in. Otherwise, there will always be 95% unemployment. We are talking about portfolio assessments. Now let me come to accreditation. Accreditation, lots of matters has been discussed by Professor Ranganathan. Now proper assessment methods by education service providers is one of the major determination factor for quality standards of a program or a training program offered. And evidence of this quality standards is necessary for granting accreditation. So if you have a proper assessment, so that ensures quality of the program, and which again relates to accreditation, which we were discussing, we were hearing from him a few moments ago. So as I focus about cross-border education, new delivery systems are coming up, new type of programs are coming up. So, and new players in the education service provider. So, and considering the mobility factor of the students, the issue has certainly drawn a global attention of accreditation and quality standards. And especially if this program is offered by an open university, a non-conventional university, or what we call virtual university or more media companies. This issue becomes more important when such kind of universities are offering these programs. Now, what are the approaches that we should have, or in practice, in quality standards. Quality standards in the educational enterprise is relatively very new. We were not talking about quality standards a few years back. It's a very relatively new thing that we are talking on quality in education. Different countries, different institutions have different approaches to quality standards. Some of the approaches is, I would suggest now, uh, anticipating the current changes, the current scenario in the education sector, ISO 9001, ISO 9000, or ISO certifications. Now, educational institutions should seek for ISO certifications. And this will standardize, since we are now considering an education sector as a service sector, it's a profit motive making sector. So it needs to follow some business modules. It needs to have, along with the academic standards, is need to have some standards of management, some standards of documenting things. So that's where ISO comes in. So I feel that ISO certifications should be, the education institute, I won't say it's mandatory, but educational institutions should go for ISO certification, and we have been seeing lots of educations are doing so. There are other approaches as well, Cullen and Norton approaches, which was initially proposed in 1992. It was meant for a profit-oriented organizations, and later it was modified for education institutions as well. There are Barnett approach, which talks about total quality management, whose emphasis is on the culture of quality rather than management of the quality. Now let me come to accreditation. I think Professor Ranganathan has given us enough data on accreditation, so I would not like to go in details in this. So basically, accreditation is an American invention. It is uniquely American. Now, two major roles that an accreditation takes is, the first is to detect, eliminate, and prevent fraud and abuse. The second purpose is to secure adequate standardization of what an academic credit represents in order to facilitate transfers of credits from one institution to other. So now we are hearing that there should be international accreditation standards, norms, and bodies should come up. So there are the global practices, various government and non-government agencies are involved. Like in US, these are the bodies. I don't want to go in details because he has already highlighted on this. In India, we have got NAC. There are other, which comes under UGC, DEC for distance education. In Nepal, we have a curriculum development center known as CDC, which is under Tribhuvan University, who looks after this kind of things. And there are other professional bodies as well. So these are in various countries. And since education sector is now witnessing a rapid development, as I have already reflected earlier, the current global practice on accreditation needs, I think, it needs a relook. Right? We cannot follow what we had 30 years back or 40 years back, because the current education scenario is changing now. ICT has been playing a very major role in education, though the influence of ICT is very slow in education sector, but slowly it is playing a major role in education sector. So in this, considering all these things, accreditation area needs to have a relook. My suggestions regarding accreditation policies, it should have a more global approach. It should be in accordance with the education's current scenario of education sectors, should be in accordance with the educational standardization approach like ISO. And some of the international bodies that can be involved, like even ISO can be involved for such kind of things. IAU, Commonwealth, UNESCO, for distance education, AAOU, ICDE can come into the picture. Now, challenges faced in Nepal in terms of accreditation. I'll end by this. We face a lot of challenges in terms of accreditation in Nepal. In Nepal, things are very traditional. It's looked after by TU, which they shouldn't be doing. TU is a university, and I believe it's a wrong practice that TU should be accrediting and evaluating qualities for other universities and other degrees. UGC has virtually no role to play in such matters in Nepal, and it also lacks expertise in non-traditional education system like uh, ODL system or online educations, or in this kind of education system, Nepal really lacks expertise. So we face a lot of problem in Nepal regarding accreditation, but hope it will change. By saying this, I would like to end my presentation here. Thank you.